One comment. That was all it took to send WNBA fans into a frenzy. As questions continued to swirl around Caitlin Clark's absence from the Indiana Fever lineup, cameras and microphones quickly turned toward teammate Sophie Cunningham. Her response wasn't a bombshell revelation, but it was enough to ignite thousands of reactions across social media within minutes. Fans immediately began debating what her words really meant, while sports shows, podcasts, and online creators rushed to break down every detail. Nothing has been officially confirmed beyond the team's public updates, yet that hasn't stopped people from forming their own theories. Some fans believe Sophie's comments reflected confidence in Clark's recovery, while others think they hinted at the pressure surrounding one of the league's biggest stars. Across X, YouTube, and sports talk shows, opinions exploded as everyone tried to connect the dots. Meanwhile, the Fever continue facing enormous expectations. Every lineup decision, injury update, and post-game interview is now analyzed frame by frame. With Clark's popularity drawing unprecedented attention to the league, even routine comments can become national headlines overnight. So what exactly did Sophie Cunningham say? Why did her remarks spark such an emotional reaction? And why are fans so divided over what comes next for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever? Stay with us, because the full story behind the headlines is more complicated than it first appears. The story didn't begin with a single interview or one viral social media clip. It began months earlier, when Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, carrying an unprecedented level of attention. Her transition from college basketball to the professional game became one of the biggest sports stories in the United States. Arenas sold more tickets, television ratings climbed, and every Indiana Fever game suddenly attracted a national audience. That dramatic increase in visibility created enormous excitement, but it also placed extraordinary pressure on everyone connected to the team. Clark arrived with remarkable expectations. Fans hoped she would immediately transform the Fever into contenders, while analysts reminded audiences that adjusting to the WNBA takes time for even the most talented rookies. Every game became a learning experience, yet every performance was also analyzed in extraordinary detail. Strong outings generated widespread praise, while difficult games often sparked intense debate online. At the same time, the Fever were trying to build chemistry as a team. Basketball success depends on far more than one player. Coaches emphasize communication, defensive discipline, and finding the right rhythm on offense. Veteran players continued adapting to new teammates, while younger players worked to establish themselves in a highly competitive league. Publicly, the focus remained on basketball fundamentals rather than outside narratives. As the season unfolded, Clark naturally became one of the league's most discussed athletes. Fans celebrated her passing ability, shooting range, and competitive drive. Critics pointed out the normal challenges of adjusting to professional defenses and faster-paced competition. Both perspectives fueled constant discussion, making nearly every Fever game a major media event. Sophie Cunningham also found herself receiving increased attention. Known throughout her career for her toughness, energy, and willingness to support teammates, she developed a reputation as a vocal competitor who never backed away from pressure. Her straightforward style often resonated with fans, especially during emotionally charged games. Whenever she addressed reporters, basketball observers listened carefully, not because every comment was controversial, but because the public spotlight on the Fever had become so intense. Then came a period when Caitlin Clark was unavailable to play due to injury. The team continued competing, while coaches and medical staff provided official updates regarding her status. As often happens in professional sports, fans wanted more information than organizations could immediately provide. That information gap quickly led to widespread speculation online. Across social media, countless posts appeared offering theories about recovery timelines, roster adjustments, and how the Fever would perform without one of their biggest stars. Some fans remained patient, encouraging Clark to recover fully before returning. Others questioned how the team would adjust offensively during her absence. None of those opinions represented official team information, yet they spread rapidly as discussions intensified. Sports media also focused heavily on the situation. Television analysts examined how Indiana's offense changed without Clark on the floor, while former players discussed the importance of depth and leadership during challenging stretches of the season. The conversation extended beyond wins and losses, highlighting how much attention the Fever had attracted compared with previous years. Throughout this period, teammates consistently emphasized unity. Players spoke about preparing together, trusting each other, and staying focused on the next game rather than outside noise. Coaches echoed similar themes, reminding everyone that injuries are part of professional sports and that successful teams adapt collectively rather than relying on a single individual. Even with those consistent public messages, fan conversations continued growing. Every interview, practice report, and game day update became a trending topic. Some supporters believed the media was placing too much pressure on Clark. Others argued that extraordinary attention naturally follows athletes who generate historic levels of interest. Both viewpoints gained traction online, creating one of the most active discussions in the league. As Sophie Cunningham answered routine questions from reporters, her comments were quickly shared across television broadcasts, YouTube channels, and social media platforms. Many viewers appreciated her support for teammates and her competitive mindset. Others interpreted individual remarks differently, illustrating how easily brief interviews can take on larger meaning once they spread across the internet. By this point, the story had evolved far beyond basketball strategy alone. It had become a conversation about expectations, leadership, media attention, and the challenges that come with unprecedented popularity. Every new development seemed to generate another wave of headlines, while fans eagerly waited for the next official update. And just as it seemed the discussion might finally settle down, another moment arrived that reignited the entire conversation, setting the stage for an even bigger debate that would dominate basketball headlines once again. The atmosphere surrounding the Indiana Fever shifted almost overnight. What had started as routine questions about Caitlin Clark's availability evolved into a much broader conversation about expectations, leadership, and the intense spotlight surrounding one of the WNBA's most talked-about teams. Every press conference, every practice update, and every post-game interview seemed to produce another wave of discussion across television and social media. As Clark continued working through her recovery, fans searched for every available update. The team released official information when appropriate, but between those updates, speculation filled the gaps. Some online commentators suggested the Fever should be cautious and prioritize Clark's long-term health. Others argued they wanted to see her return as soon as she was medically cleared. Those differing opinions fueled passionate debates, even though no official statements supported many of the circulating claims. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham's comments during interviews attracted significant attention, not because they confirmed any hidden information, but because fans were closely analyzing every public remark connected to the Fever. Short clips spread rapidly online, often accompanied by headlines that reflected the opinions of content creators rather than verified facts. As a result, many viewers interpreted the same comments in completely different ways. Inside the organization, however, the message remained consistent. Coaches emphasized preparation, teammates spoke about supporting one another, and players continued focusing on the next game. Injuries are part of professional sports, and teams routinely adapt their rotations while waiting for players to recover. Publicly available information reflected that approach rather than suggesting any internal conflict. Even so, the online conversation continued to grow. Fans debated lineup decisions, offensive adjustments, and how the Fever could remain competitive during Clark's absence. Former players and analysts discussed basketball strategy, highlighting the importance of balanced scoring, defense, and team chemistry. While opinions varied, the central theme remained the same. Clark's return would be an important moment for the team whenever she was fully ready. At the same time, the attention surrounding Clark illustrated just how much the WNBA's visibility had expanded. Games featuring the Fever generated substantial media coverage, and routine basketball developments often became national talking points. That level of interest created opportunities for the league, while also increasing scrutiny of players, coaches, and front office decisions. Then came another round of interviews that once again sparked discussion online. Various commentators offered different interpretations of what was said, with some arguing that teammates were simply expressing confidence in one another, while others believed fans were reading far too much into ordinary basketball comments. Importantly, None of those interpretations represented confirmed reporting about disagreements or behind-the-scenes disputes. The broader lesson became clear. In today's sports environment, even brief comments can quickly become viral topics once they're clipped, shared, and debated across multiple platforms. A few seconds of video can generate hours of discussion, with different audiences reaching entirely different conclusions based on the same material. As anticipation continued building around Clark's eventual return, attention shifted back to the court. Fans wanted to know how the Fever would perform, how the team would continue developing chemistry, and what role Clark would play once she was healthy enough to return. Those basketball questions remained far more significant than the speculation circulating online. Yet despite the constant noise, one thing united nearly everyone following the story. People were eager to see the Fever at full strength. Whether supporters, critics, analysts, or casual viewers, many recognized that Clark's presence had brought unprecedented attention to the league and that her return would likely become one of the season's biggest storylines. And as the next chapter approached, expectations only continued to rise. With every official update, every game, and every interview, fans knew another headline was just around the corner. The biggest questions had not yet been answered, ensuring that the conversation would continue well beyond this moment. With anticipation building around Caitlin Clark's eventual return, the conversation surrounding the Indiana Fever reached another level. Every game became more than just a contest on the court. It became another opportunity for fans, analysts, and media personalities to evaluate how the team was adapting. Television broadcasts, podcasts, and social media feeds were filled with breakdowns of the Fever's performances, while supporters eagerly awaited official updates on Clark's recovery. As the attention intensified, opinions became increasingly divided. Some commentators argued that the Fever were discovering new strengths through greater ball movement and contributions from multiple players. Others believed Clark's unique playmaking ability remained difficult to replace, and that her return would significantly change the team's offensive rhythm. These perspectives reflected basketball analysis rather than confirmed internal disagreements, yet they generated substantial debate across online communities. The spotlight also remained on interviews and public comments. Players and coaches continued emphasizing teamwork, preparation, and patience during Clark's recovery. Nevertheless, short video clips often spread far beyond their original context. On social media, different users attached their own interpretations to those clips, leading to a wide range of conclusions. Some fans viewed the comments as routine expressions of confidence, while others believed they hinted at larger storylines. None of those interpretations were confirmed by the team. The Fever, meanwhile, faced the challenge common to many professional sports organizations: balancing immediate competitive goals with the long-term health of key players. Medical decisions in elite sports are typically made carefully, with recovery timelines based on professional evaluations rather than outside pressure. Even so, fans naturally wanted more information, and that curiosity kept the story in the headlines. The league itself also benefited from the increased visibility. Attendance, television interest, and overall discussion surrounding the WNBA remained strong, with Clark's popularity contributing to broader attention from many teams and players. Analysts noted that this heightened interest brought both opportunities and challenges, as every development now attracted far more scrutiny than in previous seasons. As the days passed, speculation continued to circulate online, but the most reliable information still came from official team announcements and on-the-record interviews. The contrast between verified updates and internet theories became increasingly apparent, reminding fans of the importance of separating confirmed reporting from opinion and speculation. Just when it seemed the discussion might begin to settle, another official update and another series of games shifted attention once again, leaving fans wondering how the remainder of the season would unfold and what Clark's eventual return would mean for the Fever's playoff aspirations. The reaction across the basketball world was immediate. Every official update about Caitlin Clark became headline news, and every Fever game generated another wave of discussion. Fans flooded social media with opinions, analysts debated the team's outlook, and sports programs devoted significant airtime to the Fever's performance with and without one of the league's biggest stars. Supporters expressed a wide range of views. Many encouraged patience, emphasizing that player health should come before any single game or short-term objective. Others focused on the excitement of eventually seeing Clark back on the court, pointing to her impact on the team's offense and the league's overall visibility. These reactions reflected genuine fan interest rather than confirmed information about internal team matters. The Fever's teammates continued emphasizing unity in their public comments. Coaches highlighted preparation and consistency, while players spoke about trusting one another and adapting to changing circumstances. Such messages are common in professional sports during injury absences and underscored the team's effort to remain focused on basketball despite intense public attention. Media coverage remained extensive. Analysts discussed lineup adjustments, offensive strategy, defensive improvements, and the importance of balancing expectations with the realities of a long season. Some commentators praised the team's resilience, while others stressed that integrating a star player after an absence always requires patience and communication. Meanwhile, the broader conversation highlighted how much the WNBA had grown in public visibility. Fever games attracted widespread interest, and discussions about the team extended far beyond dedicated basketball audiences. That increased attention brought excitement for the league, while also placing players and coaches under greater scrutiny than ever before. Although online speculation continued to circulate, the most reliable information consistently came from official statements, post-game interviews, and verified reporting. Fans following the story were reminded that viral posts and short video clips do not always provide the full context of a developing situation. As anticipation surrounding Clark's return continued to build, attention increasingly shifted toward what would happen once she rejoined the lineup. Questions about chemistry, performance, and expectations remained at the center of the conversation, and the next chapter of the season promised to be watched more closely than ever. As the season moved forward, it became increasingly clear that the biggest story was no longer a single interview, social media post, or rumor. Instead, the focus returned to what could actually be measured on the court: how the Indiana Fever performed, how players continued developing together, and how the team would respond once its roster was back at full strength. The public conversation had revealed something larger about modern sports. A brief comment can become a trending topic within minutes, and speculation can spread far faster than verified information. Throughout this period, official updates from the team remained the most reliable source regarding player availability and recovery, while many of the online theories reflected fan interpretation rather than confirmed facts. For Caitlin Clark, the attention underscored both the opportunities and the challenges that accompany extraordinary popularity. Her presence had helped attract unprecedented interest to the WNBA, but it also meant that nearly every development, whether on the court or off, became the subject of national discussion. That level of scrutiny is uncommon for any athlete, particularly early in a professional career. For Sophie Cunningham and the rest of the Fever, the experience demonstrated how even routine interviews can be interpreted in multiple ways once they circulate across social media. Public comments intended to discuss teamwork or preparation may be viewed differently by different audiences, especially when expectations are exceptionally high. As the Fever looked ahead, the most important questions remained basketball-related. How quickly would the team regain its rhythm? How would the coaching staff balance rotations? What adjustments would opponents make? Those answers would ultimately come through games rather than online debate. Yet one element of uncertainty continued to keep fans engaged: the excitement surrounding Clark's eventual return and the possibility of seeing the Fever compete at full strength. Supporters hoped the team could build on its progress, while analysts recognized that the remainder of the season would provide a clearer picture of its long-term potential. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: the conversation surrounding the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark was far from over. Every game, every official update, and every post-game interview would continue attracting enormous attention. The headlines would keep coming, but the story's most important chapters would be written on the basketball court, not in speculation. What do you think about everything that has happened around the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, and the incredible amount of attention surrounding the team? Do you think the intense media coverage reflects just how much interest the WNBA has generated? Or do you believe the spotlight sometimes creates more speculation than necessary? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. Remember, in fast-moving sports stories, it's always worth separating official updates and verified reporting from rumors and online theories. Discussions and debates are part of what makes sports exciting, but the most reliable information comes directly from teams, players, and established reporting. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth coverage of the WNBA's biggest games, storylines, player performances, and league developments, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future uploads. We cover the latest headlines, game analysis, fan reactions, and major basketball moments while keeping you updated on the stories shaping the league. Whether it's Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Buchers, Sophie Cunningham, or the rest of the WNBA's biggest names, we'll continue following the action throughout the season. Thanks for watching, and now it's your turn. What do you think happens next for the Indiana Fever, and how important will Caitlin Clark's return be for the team's season? Let us know below, and we'll see you in the next video.